I'm doing some flight testing of this KDS Flymentor. It's designed to stabilize the helicopter, maybe targeted towards beginners, but there's a 3-axis gyro. It's a piezo sensor based. There's a controller, and then on the bottom you can see there's this camera. Okay, so the camera is taking a picture of the ground, and that, in addition to the 3-axis gyro, is helping it with stabilization. And it basically turns this collective pitch helicopter to act more like a coaxial. So when you let go of the sticks, when you let go of the right stick, I should say, the cyclic, it's going to center itself up and basically try to hover on its own. I have found over time that depending upon lighting conditions and your ground contrast, and they even mention this in the manual, it may or may not lock in on the ground. But I tell you what, whether it's in its position mode or the balancing mode, it does do a very good job of making it more stable to fly for the beginner. A couple of things is that I like to make sure that my piezo sensors are, and the gyros and so forth, are properly secured in there. So I took this case off, and the board is sandwiched in there, and although it's sandwiched pretty good, I ended up putting some Goop E6000 in there to secure it better. Also, because piezo sensors are sensitive to vibration, although this is a very smooth flying helicopter, I've set it up really well. I did put some Zeal tape in there to help it isolate from vibrations. I don't know if that's making much of a difference. Maybe I'll try it without that. I do know that this helicopter is already flying pretty smooth. I didn't do the greatest job of the wiring and everything. I wanted to get some time on this just to make sure it worked. I've got a JR 290 servo on the tail. It's holding the tail surprisingly well. I'll show you in the video, but the tail is very good for a piezo. And I just put the sensor, the gyro tail gain at 30% heading hold, and then I don't have a switch for my tail gain. What I ended up doing was hooking up the Flymentor sensitivity gain just to my gear switch. So I've got it set up for up is position mode and down is off. So if I just want to fly with it off, I can do that. If I want to put it on position mode, I can do that. If you let go of the sticks, whether it's inverted or not, it's gonna convert itself to upright. And then, so if you have a problem with your orientation while you're learning, you basically want to let go of your right stick and then work your left stick. Get your height first so that you're not dropping, and then turn your tail. And then stop any side-to-side movement that's going on at the time. So I think this is a very good training aid, and one thing I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks is I'm going to take some people who have never flown helicopters, and I've got 2 DX7s, and I'm going to hook it up on a buddy system, and I'm going to see if I can get these guys to do a little bit of hovering with this thing. But let me show you some flight video of it in action. This is in position mode on the Flymentor with 70%. 70% for the stabilization gain. And this is hands off. You see it still drifts a little bit, very slow. You can see how well it does hands off. If I get a little higher, it it has a little more trouble tracking itself. It kind of likes about this height right here for trying to stabilize itself. You can see it's doing pretty good right now all by itself. Still drifts a little bit. I have pretty good lighting right now. The shadow is not underneath the helicopter. It flies a lot like a coax in terms of you go to the right, center the sticks, it comes back. Every time I center the stick, it'll come right back. So when you see it heading back to center, that's because I'm letting go of the stick. But I'm not fighting it. I can still fly and do what I want. It just wants to come back to center. So if I want to control the helicopter and do a pirouetting circle, I can still do that. I just have to do it a little bit differently and give more input. I have to constantly be pushing it in the direction I want it to go. And as soon as I let go, it's going to kind of stay in one spot. But when I tell it to go someplace, left or right, I just have to keep with the sticks. I might even suggest to somebody who's using this as a training tool, as they get better with it, to maybe lower the sensitivity gain over time so that it acts more like a traditional helicopter. Some people might find that they've had so much trouble with helicopters that they might just want to fly it like this all the time. That's fine, whatever they want to do. If they feel that they have trouble learning a conventional helicopter control and they just want to do upright flight, maybe that'll just work out fine for them, because I can still do some upright flight with this. That's not a problem, even in balancer mode. I just have to fly a little bit more like a fixed pitch where you have to push forward. Right now I'm pushing forward to fly, which is not something that you normally do with a collective pitch helicopter. You do that with a fixed pitch helicopter, but with a traditional collective pitch helicopter, I shouldn't have to be pushing so much forward to get my forward flight going. And if somebody gets disoriented, just let go of the sticks, work your collective first, turn the tail around, dry your pants out, whatever you got to do, and then come in and maybe you got to land or whatever. But if you're flying around and you get disoriented, just let go of the sticks, let go of the right stick I should say, work your left stick, get it up. So once again, if I lose orientation, I just let go of the right stick. The left stick you still got to control. You don't want to lose orientation and then drop. If you feel you got to let go of the sticks, you got to actually push up with the left one. You just have to watch what's going on, because if you're coming towards yourself, you got to push up to get over your head, but you also have to watch out where you're going to run into. So being out in the middle of a field like this is really good, because you know, if I need to recover, I can get out of the way and I don't have to worry about somebody behind me. At an organized flying field in front of other people while they're flying is not the place to learn. Out by yourself is a good place to learn. Now, I don't have a lot of wind today, not at this time, but it is so much more stable than if I had no Flymentor. This might even be a good addition for somebody who wants to put this on a scale helicopter to make the scale helicopter more stable. Okay, so I'm still in position mode, and it's holding itself. Also, here's another thing. Look at that tail. I have not touched that tail trim since the beginning of the flight. I think I gave it a couple clicks, but look at that tail. That tail is not moving. It is very stable, which is pretty good for a piezo. After a little bit of tweaking and playing around and familiarizing myself with that Flymentor, I think it's a very interesting product. So you saw it in action. You can see how it made the helicopter stable. Some people, like when they came out with the Heli-Command or the co-pilot, kind of scoffed at the idea of trying to stabilize the helicopter. Well, they kind of did the same thing when they came out with the fly-barless controllers as well. This is just another training tool. You can use it or not. I'm going to give it a shot, like I said, and see if I can get some other people to fly. And at least with this hooked up, I have a lot more confidence than before that I can take somebody with little or no simulator experience and see if they can fly. And at least if I'm taking over the controls to bail out on the buddy box, at least I know I pretty much only have to work the left hand, and I don't have to think too hard about the right hand. Because as an instructor, even when you're flying on a buddy box, once you take over controls, there's not that instant connection with the helicopter. You've got to take a moment to connect with the helicopter mentally and visually in order to gain control. So we're going to see how well this does for that.